Hello and welcome everyone to BioLife Academy. My name is Shaja Ghosh. I have completed my BSc and MSc in Botany and also an educator in BioLife Academy. Today we will discuss about the history behind the discovery of cells. So let's start. A huge elephant or a tiny little ant differ very much externally, but they all are made up of cells, the basic building block of life. However, life can also be possible without cells, that is, in case of virus, viroid, prions, where there is no cell but they contain only genetic materials like DNA or RNA. We know a lot about cells today, but the actual journey has begun pretty much earlier. In the 1590s, Zacharias Janssen invented the first compound microscope, and since then it has become a very fascinating thing for the scientists as they can observe such things under the microscope that are not visible in naked eye. So now let's talk about Robert Hooke. Robert Hooke is a very much famous name in the field of science. He is an English microscopist who at the age of 27 was awarded the position of a curator of the Royal Society of London because of his work. He actually modifies the existing compound microscope, placing 3 lenses and a stage light that makes the sample more brighter and bigger. He took a piece of cork, that is the outside of the bark of a tree, and placed it under the microscope where he observed pores-like thing. That reminds him about the cells in the monastery in which monk lives. Thus he named the pores cell, and from there only the name of cell came. He wrote a book, Microphagia, in which all his works are mentioned. In the meantime, a Dutch scientist, Antony van Leeuwenhoek, who earned a living selling clothes and buttons, used his spare time to do stuff like grinding lenses and building simple microscopes. His microscopes are very good in quality, having the ability to magnify an object by around 200 to 300 times. One day he took a drop of pond water and placed under the microscope where he observed small moving organisms he named animalcules. He was the first observer of living cells. He used to wrote letters to the Royal Society about his observations. Initially, his work was not given so much importance, but later his work was recognized and he soon became a celebrity worldwide. Furthermore, about the cell theory too, German scientists Theodor Schwann and Matthias Skeldin studied both animal and plant cells deeply. They found same thing in both plant and animal and come up with two theory that all organisms composed of one or more cells, and cell is the structural unit of life. However, they have misunderstood how cells are originated. They believe that cells originate aborigines. However, another German scientist named Rudolf Virchow observed closely to the bacteria and noticed that at a particular time bacteria actually divides into two. That means from one bacteria, two bacteria are formed. So he then conclude a theory that every cell comes from the pre-existing cell, and in German it was termed as omnicellular acellular. As time progressed, more attention to cytogenetics was given, and one after another mysteries are disclosed to the world by various scientists time to time, like the chromosome theory. Walter Sutton and Theodore Boveri in 1902 separately developed different parts of the chromosome theory. Their chromosome theory act as a linker between the cytology and the genetics. Then the famous discovery of the double helix model of the DNA was done by Watson and Crick in the 1953. This discovery solidifies the role of cell in heredity. So if you like the video, then please do comment, subscribe and hit the like button. Thank you very much.